Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sunday meal prep video. On the menu this week, I am planning on making birthday cake overnight oats for breakfast prep. I am so excited to try these. I don't even know yet exactly what I'm putting in them. I'm not even sure the name of them. Right now I'm going with birthday cake overnight oats. So that is what's planned for breakfast prep. For lunch prep, I am planning on doing slow cooker salsa chicken. I actually have that going right now. I'm gonna insert the clip after this intro to show you how I prepped that this morning. And then for dinners this week, I only have 2 dinners to pre-package. So if you're new to my channel, for my dinners, I don't actually cook those like I do breakfast and lunch. They're basically just dinner kits that I already, I pre-measure, pre-weigh, and have all the portions in the dinner kit for my husband and I, and then that way when I get home from work, I just pull the kit out and everything's already ready to go. I know how many points I'm gonna be eating based on what I have in that dinner kit. And also, if you're new to my channel, I currently follow the WW Blue program. However, I will always provide the points for all 3 programs on WW, as well as the nutritional facts on my website, planningushealthy.com. I'll give you the nutritional facts like the calories, fat, fiber, and things like that. So if you don't follow WW, you can definitely get that there. And you also don't have to be on any type of weight loss program to enjoy my videos. My meal prep videos are basically made for anybody, just to try to give you a little bit of extra time throughout the week. It's some work that I do on Sunday, but it saves throughout the week and it's just so much less stress. I know exactly what I'm going to be having the rest of the week and it just works for me. So I do a great big meal prep, but definitely do it according to what works for you. I'm only prepping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for my husband and I for breakfast and lunch, except for when I do overnight oats, I usually do 4 days. Like today, I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But you can definitely change things up, make it your own, just to give you an idea of the ways that you can make it easier on yourself throughout the week. So if you want to see how I meal prep breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for my husband and I, then stay with me. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kristi and I'm Planning Us Healthy. Good morning, everyone. So it's actually early in the morning, actually not too early. I got a late start. It's almost 9 o'clock. But I have to get the lunch going. For lunch, we're doing slow cooker salsa chicken. It is 2 points on blue, 2 points on purple, and 7 points on green. It's super easy to make. We're gonna actually be putting this over rice, and I think I'm gonna add some cilantro and avocado during the week. I won't do that today, but I'll just add that onto mine during the week when I'm at work. So I will have to add some additional points for that. So this is really easy. Let me show you what we do. I have 2 pounds of cubed chicken. You don't have to cube it if you don't want. You can leave it whole and just lay it over the top. I'm gonna season that with, I have about a half a teaspoon of salt. You know what, I didn't put pepper in it. I have about a half a teaspoon of salt. I have a teaspoon of adobo seasoning. I also add about a teaspoon of garlic. You don't have to add the garlic though, because adobo does have garlic in it. If y'all know me, you know I love garlic, so that's why I add it. So this is basically just a teaspoon of adobo seasoning, about a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and some garlic powder. But I do a teaspoon of garlic powder, but like I said, if you do not like that much garlic, then you could just leave that out and just use the adobo. So just gonna sprinkle that over the top and just kind of mix it around in there. And like I said, this is 2 pounds of chicken. The other things that we're gonna need are 1 can of diced tomatoes, a can of corn, 2 cans of black beans, and then 2 cups of salsa, which I'm actually using picante sauce. Just because I like to use picante sauce over salsa because I don't really care for how chunky salsa is. So the picante sauce isn't as chunky. You can probably see my bag of chicken scraps here. So when I cut up my chicken and cut all the fat pieces off and it ends up with some regular chicken, I don't throw that away, I save that. just like I save the scraps from my vegetables, like the peelings from the onions and things like that, and I put it in my freezer. So I'm gonna put that in my freezer, and when I get enough of everything, I'm gonna make a big chicken stock. So I use the scraps of pretty much everything to make a chicken stock, and that way I don't feel like I'm wasting so much. All right, so let me show you how simple this is. So I have my crock pot, my slow cooker, sprayed with olive oil spray or whatever cooking spray you want. In the bottom, I'm going to add the corn and black beans. These are rinsed. I've already rinsed and drained these. And I'm going to add my can of tomatoes. Just mix that up a little. And then we're just going to add the chicken over the top. And this is going to be enough for 6 servings. Okay. We're going to add our 2 cups of salsa or picante sauce. I've actually added this at the end, so if you don't prefer this to be real warm, you can add it at the end. And then at the end, when it's done, I'm going to cook this on low for about 6 hours, and when it's done, I'm going to top it with 1.5 cups of Velveeta shreds. And actually, I may not even, I think I'm just going to add the Velveeta shreds to our individual plates when I'm done. And you can leave the cheese out. You definitely don't even have to use the cheese if you don't want. You can lower your points with the cheese. All right, so I'm going to put this on low for about 6 hours, and in the meantime, I'll come back to you and do the breakfast. So now we are moving on to breakfast and the birthday cake overnight oats. And like I said, I'm really not sure if that's what I'm going to name them. I'll decide once I actually put the recipe, create the recipe for them. So I think I'm going to use my chocolate chip peanut butter overnight oats recipe kind of as a base and just add and remove some things. I'm actually going to be using a little bit more oats this time. In my other overnight oats, I usually just use 1/3 of a cup. But that was because I was using the powdered peanut butter. So because I'm not using the powdered peanut butter, it won't bulk it up as much. So I'm going to use 1/2 cup of oats this time. So for these ones, the points came out to be 6 points for green and blue and 2 points for purple. I am actually using a tablespoon of the rainbow sprinkles. So if you cut it down to 1/2 tablespoon, you could take off 1 point for it. So for purple, you're getting your points from 1 point for the tablespoon of the sprinkles and 1 point for the 1/2 tablespoon of chia seeds. I'll just make one for now and then I'll super speed through the rest so you don't have to sit there and watch me do all of them. So for this, I'm using, like I said, 1/2 cup of, I'm using quick oats. I've honestly used the old-fashioned, I've used quick, and I don't really notice a difference. I know some people say that they notice a difference in them, so I guess it's just a personal preference. So I'm going to be using 1/2 cup of the oats. I'm going to use 1/2 cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk. You don't have to use the vanilla, that's just the kind that I get. So 1/2 cup of almond milk, a teaspoon of, I'm just using Swerve brown sugar replacement, and then I'm going to use my cake batter extract, and I think I'll do a teaspoon of that. I'm using Maple Grove Farm sugar-free syrup. This is, I love this syrup. Anybody who watches me, you hear me talk about that all the time. So I'm going to do a tablespoon of that. I do like sweetness to my oats, so that's why I'm adding both the syrup and the brown sugar. So if you don't like it that sweet, you definitely can leave something out. Again, overnight oats are something you really need to play around with. They're so versatile, and you just have to kind of make different kinds to, you know, adjust it to your liking. Everybody likes it different. Sometimes the consistency, you know, some people like it thicker, some people like it thinner, some people don't like them cold. Now we just eat these cold. I make these, I put them in the fridge overnight, and then I just get them out and eat them cold. But some people don't like them cold, and you could definitely heat them in the microwave too. So now I'm adding 1/2 tablespoon of chia seeds, and the chia seeds will bulk it up as well. They kind of expand once they're in liquid. So now I'm just going to take a knife and just kind of stir all that up. I don't want to over stir it though. This smells really good. Okay, I wanted to make sure I could smell enough of the cake batter extract in there. And finally, the last thing I'm going to do is just add a tablespoon. You know what? Let me wash my tablespoon. Well, no, I can do it this way. Actually, I'll use my half a tablespoon. And you know what? let me see what it looks like. You know what, y'all? I think I may just do a half a tablespoon. That's going to lower the points. Yeah, I'm just going to do a half a tablespoon. I don't know if you can see that, but it covers it up pretty good. It covers the top. So I guess it just depends. For me, that looks like enough. If you have wide mouth mason jars, you may want to add a whole tablespoon, but I think I'm just going to do a half a tablespoon. So this is going to change it. This is going to change the points down. For purple now, you're dealing with 1 point, which is from the chia seeds, which I highly recommend keeping the chia seeds, and they're really good for your heart health. For blue and green, it's going to drop it down to 5 points. So that'll work. And then I will put them in the fridge overnight, and we'll eat them cold. So if you are new to my channel, a lot of the things that I'm trying on meal prep day, I haven't had before. So I usually let you all know on Thursdays how it was. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the rest of these together and I will super speed through. Okay, so that is it for the breakfast. So I'm going to put the tops on all these, get these in the fridge, and then I'm going to move on to my couple dinner kits that I have and snacks. And then after that, I will be portioning out the lunches. Okay, so I am moving on to dinners, and if you hear my bird in the background, I want to apologize in advance. There's some birds outside the window that he's in front of, and he's just talking back and forth to them, so I apologize for that. So for my dinners, as I said in the beginning, if you're new, this is basically what I do. I'm just doing dinner kit. I'm putting what's in, or just write down what's in the bag. Then I put the points. I do blue, but I'm providing the points for the rest of you also. So the points that I have in the bag are for the points in the whole kit, not just the meat. So I'm just gonna cut the broccoli, put it in the bottom, and then I'll just roast it that night. So I'll just take it out and roast it. This kit is actually real easy because there's really not anything to that. Then I'm just gonna put my salmon in there, and I'm just gonna leave it right in the package it came in. I'm gonna put my salmon topping in there. So again, I've already put this together because I'm not doing this really to show you how to make these ones. This is basically just to show you how I package my dinner kits. But as far as how to make them, I will always list all the recipes down in the description box below. So for the breakfast, the lunches, and the majority, all the dinners, I'll have them down in the description box. So I'm gonna put that in there. And then the other thing that I have with this one is the ready rice, 90-second ready rice. So I just stick that in there. I don't leave that in there and put it in the fridge. I'm just putting it in there for just showing you what we're having with it. I'm actually trying to hurry because I found out my grandson's coming over to visit this afternoon. So that's all I do. And then the night we have it, I just pull that out from the fridge and everything's already, this one is easy because I really didn't have to measure anything. We're just having broccoli with it, so there wasn't anything to measure. Okay, so for the next one, I'm gonna have to keep looking down at my paper here This is a recipe I actually got from the Skinnytaste cookbook, the Skinnytaste air fryer cookbook, and I just kind of adapted it, made a few little changes. I'm not actually going to be putting all the ingredients in this bag. So this is the air fryer apple stuffed pork chops. I'm going to do this with roasted potatoes, peppers, and Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to just put the vegetables down in the bottom first. And the peppers that I'm going to be using, I'm just going to be cutting those up and putting it on the tray with the potatoes. So this part I go ahead and do now, and then that way I know exactly how much I'm having. Try and get exactly. So this makes it a lot easier because I can pre-track. I know exactly how much I'm going to be having. So there's my potatoes and my vegetables, and so now I'll put the rest of everything in there. So basically for this one, it's apple stuff, so of course I'm going to need an apple. So as you can see, I'm not cutting anything up right now. I'm going to need some celery. I'm going to need an onion. I am going to need a mixture of 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard and 1 teaspoon of maple syrup. So for this part, you could actually, since this is such a small amount, you could just wait and do this the night that you make it. There are some things, like for example, this one calls for, I think, a quarter of a tablespoon of light butter. I'm not going to be putting that in the bag. I'll just do that the night that I make it. So there's some things that I don't pre-package, and I just have to kind of remember what it is. Okay, so that's going to go in the bag. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put my seasonings together. I'm just going to put them in these little containers that I get at the Dollar Tree. I get these from. And then I'm going to mark that with a P, because this is going to be for the pork topping. Because then we're going to be putting some spices together for the actual apple stuffing. So for this one, I'm just going to put an A on my lid. And I grabbed a round. All right, let's switch this over. And then finally, 2 5-ounce pieces of pork loin. I use the pork loin chops. And that is it for the dinners. So that's all I do for those. So now I'm going to clean up this and then get my things out that I'm going to be having for snacks and check on the lunch. Okay, I had to take a little break because my grandson came for a little visit. So now I'm going to just put the fruit together. I actually cut up the strawberries while he was here because he wanted some strawberries. That boy loves fruit. So I'm just going to I was going to split this up between us, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it into one container, and then we can just snack on it throughout the week. And then I also have apples if we want to snack on apples this week. And I think we probably won't eat all the apples this week, so I'm thinking something up for breakfast to use with the apples next week. So I'm excited about that. Alright, so that is going to be our fruit bowl for the week. Just some strawberries and blueberries. I'll also be having sugar-free pudding and yogurt, and I need to do my pretzels. So for my pretzels, I'm just going to weigh out, I'm just going to do 4 portions, and this way I just grab my pretzels when I want to snack on them at night. So I'm going to put, 1 serving is 28 grams, but you can actually have 29 grams for the 3 points. So I'm just going to weigh out the 29 grams. And then the other thing that I'll do is for breakfast, I'm doing the overnight oats 4 mornings. So one morning I'm just going to do yogurt and fruit. And then the last 2 days of lunch, Thursday for lunch and Friday for lunch, I think I was just going to do turkey and Laughing Cow cheese wrap one day. I basically just take an Olay Extreme Wellness wrap. Those are 1 point. And I put a Laughing Cow cheese wedge on it and some turkey and vegetables, and it's a 2-point wrap. And then Friday, I think I planned on just doing maybe like a tuna fish sandwich or something. So sometimes towards the end of the week, we'll go out to lunch at work or something too. So I try to keep those days open. And then I'm sealing these up, but I'm actually going to throw a Laughing Cow cheese wedge in there, and then I'll just keep these in the fridge throughout the week. Okay, so I'm just gonna toss a Laughing Cow cheese wedge in each bag. I use the garlic and herb. I really like that kind. There's a light Swiss. They're all 1 point per wedge. So, and then 2 points, or 3 points for 2 wedges. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my snacks. Since my grandson was here visiting, the timing actually was perfect because my lunch has been ready. It's been the 6 hours, and I'm going to portion that into my containers. All right, so the last thing I have to do is just portion out our lunches. And what I have done is I've actually weighed out the whole amount. So this is what this looks like. I should have showed you before I took it out. I'll do a close-up at the end, but it's really hot, as you can see still. So this is so good. So it's got kind of a lot of juice in there right now, but I don't drain it. I leave that in there because I'm going to be putting it over rice, so that rice will soak up that juice. So what I did is I weighed the whole entire thing, and then I just divide that by 6 so I know how much to put in each of my containers. And then I do the same thing with the rice. If you have watched me for a long time, you know that I really only like white rice. When I can, I try and eat brown rice because I know it is better for you. So when I mix it in with things like this, I don't mind the brown rice at all. It's when I'm eating the rice where it's more plain, then I don't care for it. So I am going to be using brown rice, so I'm going to have to add points. This is actually only 2 points for a ½ cup cooked. So it was a ¼ cup of dry that I used for each portion. So it's going to be ½ cup cooked, which comes out to 2 points. If you're on purple, of course, brown rice is 0. So I'm going to just weigh out my portions. It should come out right around to a ½ cup, but I'm just going to weigh it anyway, just to be on the safe side. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is weigh out the salsa chicken. All right, so that's the portion we're going to get. I don't know if you can see that. Again, I'll do the whole spread at the end and you can see it. And then the last thing I'm going to do at the end after I fill these, I'm going to put a ¼ cup of Velveeta shreds. So if you don't end up using the Velveeta, I want to say for blue and purple, this is 0 points. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything pointed in this. I think the only points that we're having is for the cheese. So you can do different things. We sometimes put avocado, which I did buy some avocados. I'm going to put a little bit of avocado on mine. We do sometimes sour cream, cheese, cilantro, different things like that. So I ended up just putting 1/8 of a cup of cheese on each one. So these will actually just be 1 point. It's going to cut it down. And the reason being is I'm probably going to put some sour cream, or I know I'm going to be putting some avocado. So right now the way that it stands for me on blue is going to be a 3-point lunch. So I will go through that at the end. So let me put everything out on the table and show you what we ended up with today. All right, so here is my meal prep for this week. So I'm going to start with lunches this time. So this is what lunches look like. See if I can focus in. So like I said, I only ended up using 1 point worth of cheese. So not counting the rice, this is actually 1 point for blue, 1 point for purple, and 6 points for green. And then plus my brown rice, which is 2 points worth for blue and green. And then of course purple would be 0. So for me on blue, this is gonna be a 3-point lunch. I say it's gonna be 3 points. It's gonna be more because I'm gonna end up adding some cilantro and avocado. I'm just not gonna add it until the day that I have it. And then our breakfast. I'm so excited about these. I feel like a little kid. Like, I'm so excited. So these are the birthday cake overnight oats. I think that's probably just what I'm gonna stick with calling them because they really do kind of look like birthday cake. So again, these I ended up just using half a tablespoon of the sprinkles, which was 0. So for these on blue and green, it's gonna be 5 points. And then on purple, it's just gonna be 1 point. So that is a nice breakfast. So if you're purple this week, you guys have some very low meals between breakfast and lunch if you do these this week. For dinners, air fryer apple stuffed pork chops with roasted potatoes and peppers and Brussels sprouts. I couldn't remember what it was. That's 9 points for blue, 6 for purple, and 9 for green. And then the basil-parmesan salmon with rice and broccoli and queso is 6 blue, 6 purple, and 13 green. Again, those totals, those points are for the entire packet. This one is even including the queso. And then my snacks this week, I have, of course, my 2-point yogurt, my 2-point puddings. I've got some apples. I've got my strawberries and blueberries, and then I've got my 3-point pretzels with my 1-point Laughing Cow cheese. Another week of meal prep done, and another week I am so excited for breakfast and lunch. So thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Put any comments down below, and if you're new, I really hope that you'll consider subscribing. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you're notified anytime I upload new content. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm planning us healthy.